Here's an idea. Daredevil is underused not because of Marvel, but because of us. Doo-doo-doo. Hey, this is Key Comics 1, and this is going to be the first episode of Comic Book Theories. And today I'm going to be talking about Daredevil. And it's occurred to me that Daredevil has to be probably the most underrated comic book character of all time. He's been around since the 60s, and I think the most media attention he's gotten is one movie, one very awful movie. And why is that? Why has Daredevil, a character who's been around since the 60s, is one of Marvel's most unique characters, who's had one of the longest running series in Marvel, hardly get any attention and is never used? And this video isn't going to be ranting, angry. This is going to be a kind of a hypothetical video, if I'm using that word correctly. Well, let's look at it. Daredevil is about a blind lawyer who dresses up as a superhero and uses his sonar type abilities to battle various drug lords and other complex villains. Okay, so that would be a very complex show, dealing with a blind lawyer and drugs and crime lords and stuff like that. Very complex. But the thing is, superheroes nowadays are very, very, very mainstream. The past 5 years, ever since the Avengers, comic books have been just skyrocketing to the public. Like, the masses are just going crazy for comic book stuff. You go to a Walmart, you'll see like 20 Captain America shirts. It's crazy. And that's good. So, you think people would like complexity, stuff like Breaking Bad, and, you know, complex things like that. People love that stuff. But not necessarily for superheroes. For comic book superheroes and the masses, complexity doesn't really entertain people. When it comes to superheroes, two things entertain people: action and comedy. Let's look at some of the greatest movies that's come out in the past 5 years. Even some of the bad ones. Green Lantern, action and comedy. The Avengers, action and comedy. Captain America, Winter Soldier, a lot of action. Man of Steel, comedy. There's not really much action in Man of Steel, but hopefully there's some action in Man of Steel 2. But yeah, so comic books have really this formula to appeal to the more mainstream. And you can kind of argue that the Dark Knight trilogy was complex, but that's DC. DC is just, oh gosh, DC is very complex, and that's a different video with the multiverses and the Watchmen, and that's something else. I'm talking about Marvel. So they can't really do anything with Daredevil if the masses won't appeal to it. You can't make an action comedy Daredevil. Daredevil does with drugs and being blind, and that kind of thing appeals to a specific group of people. And nowadays, that's not what Marvel is targeting. They're not targeting specific people. They're targeting everybody. And that's why I think we don't really see much Daredevil. And, you know, I don't really know what's going on with the whole who has the rights to what. I don't really keep up with that. I know Marvel has the rights to stuff. Disney has the rights to stuff. Sony has the rights to stuff. I think DC owns some of Marvel now. You know, I don't know what's going on with that. I could be wrong, though. But, yeah, I know Daredevil, they're going to do a Netflix series, which I can't wait for. Hopefully I can get Netflix. I think my mom has it. I'll watch it there. But It kind of sucks that it's not on, mainstream television. Because again, it'd be really cool. But I don't. I think they're going more for Netflix to target the more specific, route. Because if it's on TV, they have to appeal to everybody, and that's not what Daredevil's about. Other series like Walking Dead, Watchmen, they're complex, but they're not superheroes. I'm talking about, well, Watchmen superheroes, just Walking Dead. Walking Dead is complex, but they're not superheroes. That's completely different genre. I'm talking about superheroes, and they've become more of, again, mainstream. And it's kind of sad not to see some of the more complex heroes get a shine in media, like Daredevil. Who else? Yeah. I mean, like, my mind's just blank, but Daredevil's the only one I can think of at the moment for Marvel. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. But it's just a theory. A comic theory. Yeah. I don't know how they're gonna do an Ant-Man movie. That's gonna be kind of weird, but I'm sure there'll be lots of action and comedy in it. So yeah, Kid Comics went out. Stay tuned for my next theory. Peace.